Starting map is on Challenge, it's on the brackets, so game 1 is going to be on El Dorado for all the round 16 matches, and then loser's pick. Then it is going to be loser's pick there on forward. Oh boy, and this is a map that we rarely get to see. We casted an entire tournament this morning. We casted an entire tournament, the Pigosaur Monday, and we did not see this map at all. Same with even last night, actually, with Sparkling Tuna Cup. We never got to embrace El Dorado, but here we are. We force it because that's how we do at OlimoLeague. Oh god. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of El Dorado, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaimon Gladiators. It is SHIN. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the Blue Zerg player representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. We go. The ZvZs do continue, and we expect them to be chaotic. We expect them to be intense. This is a rematch. Both Solar and SHIN faced off in the grand finals of the KSL last week, and it went all the way to the ace match, went all the way to game 5. In the end, SHIN did take it, did win over Solar, just barely. We'll see if we can do it again. We'll see if we can do it again, or we'll see if Solar gets his revenge. Oh boy. SHIN is already warmed up. Solar getting ready. Is going to be getting ready here. Is going to be initially a hatch gas pool, standard opener out of Solar. Likewise, SHIN back at home going hatch gas pool as well. Standard openers all around. Everything looking as it should for the time being. Everything looking normal. When it comes to the map itself, and maybe we can embrace it to welcome one and all to El Dorado, papi. Welcome to the new Golden Wall. The new, much smaller, much more intense Golden Wall, I should say, as we have gold bases. There are gold bases here in the center of the map. Likewise, in the dead center, we have another gold as well, so 3 gold bases are set up here. Likewise, we have mineral walls to wall off this entire portion of the map. Mineral walls here at the natural, at both players' natural bases, and here in the center of the map as well. So we have seen a lot of players actually expand towards the south and take these bases. We've seen even SHIN take this triangular third and take the gold base as a fourth on the same side of the map. We've seen this quite frequently, quite often, but I'll be honest, I have never seen a ZvZ on this map, so I don't know the dynamic that we're going to be seeing as Solar is mining through those southern patches. Solar is going to be mining through them. SHIN has yet to begin, so it looks like SHIN will most likely take the linear third instead. Will most likely take the linear third as SHIN is settling in. And we should soon be expanding. SHIN moving in with the Overlords and trying to get a read on whether or not his opponent is expanding. SHIN did skip the Ling Scout, and I believe is skipping Ling Speed. Oh my god. Okay, so SHIN is skipping Ling Speed. It looks like he wants to play 2-base Roach, at least initially. Or maybe even something more sinister here. What else could we see? We could see a fast lair into 2-base Muta. True, that would be viable. That is an option. Creep is spreading. Solar, meanwhile, is investing into Ling Speed, getting his third base. We should be seeing a Baneless momentarily, unless Solar realizes what's going on. Ooh, Evo Chamber. Now, we saw a very similar build last game. Remember, Rogue versus SHIN on Whispers of Gold. We saw Rogue go for a third base, go for an Evo Chamber into +1 carry base, into a Ling Flood. I am picturing the same thing here for Solar. Yeah, there's that. Oh, my apologies. Sorry, there's a Roach Warren. For some reason I thought it was a Evo Chamber, but it's going to be a Roach Warren. Regardless, Solar, he is skipping Banelings, he's going into Roaches. Did he cancel Ling Speed? He did not. Ling Speed was researched. Interesting. Solar being active. Meanwhile, SHIN walling up and walling off. Getting secure here on 2 bases. And you may be thinking, you know, SHIN is going to be stuck on 2 bases, he's going to be behind economically. Well, he's fully saturating, and he can always mine through these middle patches. And he is. He's mining through these patches, gaining access to the southern half of the map. Both players are expanding in the same direction, and we should be seeing some aggression momentarily once we get into our Roach play. Never mind, that is going to be the Spire. Okay. Spire is placed. I was about to say that if SHIN does not mine through these patches, then he has a natural wall here, a natural barrier, and it's going to be that much more difficult for Solar, to counterattack after SHIN goes Muta. So I do like this. I do like this quite a lot here. Mutas are on the way. Meanwhile, Solar, he's not droning. Solar, he did saturate somewhat. He droned up to 36, but that is it. He's massing up roaches, massing up lings. Solar, he's going for one big push, one big all-in. No lair. It is a hatch-based all-in for Solar. The Overlord does confirm, and Shin, he opened up the wall. Oh, he opened up the wall. And now Shin realizes the mistake that he has made. He's going to pull back, he's going to pull away, but here comes the all-in. Third base is going to be denied, and Shin, he needs roaches. He doesn't have any. Doesn't have any roaches, does transfuse, but yeah, it's not going to be enough. Solar, he busts in, takes down the queens, and there's just not enough here to defend. There's not enough for Shin. Again, if he hadn't expanded here, then maybe he would have had a couple of, he would have had a couple of extra seconds, 100%. Spire is done, but Shin gets caught with his pants down. That's a kill on the Roach Warren. And boys are being pulled, so many drones going down. GG gets called, and Solar takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Solar just going for the hatch-based all-in. Meanwhile, Shin was cutting corners, being greedy, and rushing into Muta. So we had attempted 2-base Muta out of Shin, but alas, Solar, he didn't even know it was 2-base Muta, by the way. He was just going for an all-in anyway, and did catch Shin with his pants down. The pants were down, but GG, well played. Solar will take a lead here in the series, and will it be a 2-0 or can Shin bounce back? What I will say about game 1 is that it was very build oriented. Like it was very much so our players, they chose their builds, they embraced them, and in the end Shin got taken out. Because that, I don't think we really got to embrace too much of our players. Honestly, it was very similar with Rogue series as well, I'm not gonna lie. But now we're going to be entering a much larger map. Up next, we have Snowpiercer, the largest map in the new map pool. Very large map, and this can lead into some longer game states. If a player wanted to go into Muta play, this would be a better map for it, I feel, but oh, never mind. I don't think this was the intended map. Never mind, as oh, I see. Never mind, as we are going to be setting up. Snowpiercer is not involved in the map pool, actually, not this week, so our apologies. We'll have to be picking a different map instead, and we're going into Whispers of Gold. Now, as a heads up as to what just occurred, there are 6 maps in the new map pool, but OlimoLeague only features 5. Only 5 maps are featured this week. Amygdala, Eldorado, Leylines, Ultra Love, and Whispers of Gold. Snowpiercer is not in this week's map pool. It's not a part of this week's map pool here. It is cut off. It is cut out, at least for this week. I'm sure it's going to be back next week instead. So we did have to remake. We did have to restart here. We are jumping into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Whispers of Gold. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaming Gladiators. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Shin. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Here we go. Here we go, as we are going to be settling in. Solar is going to be going hatch first. Likewise, Shin doing the same. So far, so good. We have our initial standard builds. And now we can start talking about this map instead. Okay, welcome one and all once again to Whispers of Gold, not Snowpiercer. And on this map, the third bases are much more exposed. The rush distance by ground is very short as well, so all-ins can hit that much harder, can hit that much stronger. We saw that previously between Shin and Rogue. And we'll see which play. Our players are going to be aggressive, 100%. We just saw that in game 1. We've seen that already throughout the entire day of StarCraft. Between Solar, Shin, Rogue. But what form of aggression is the better question. Now, I don't see Shin going for a 2-base Muta on this map. No shot. No shot to going 2-base Muta on Whispers of Gold. That should not occur. Instead, we're going to be seeing something a little bit different here. We could be seeing 2-base Roach, or more likely, Ling Bane into Roach play. Now, once again, I would not be surprised if Solar does skip Banelings. If he skips Banelings, goes for a Link Flood into Roaches once again. Last game wasn't all in, but we could be seeing Bit of a different variation here. It is possible. As gases are being mined, our players are building up. Third base now being taken by Solar, going for the linear third, a very safe, or much safer third base location compared to the more aggressive one that Rogue went for earlier. Shin doing the same. We're expanding, we're chilling, we're droning. Now the next big step here, Banelings. Do we throw down those Baneling nests or do we skip them? Shin, he does threaten to move out. Drone getting in position. Baneling nest is thrown down for Shin. Baneling nest thrown down for Solar as well. No Evo Chamber, no +1 Carapace. Straight up Ling Bane. Okay, standard play. And now from here we can enter some Ling Bane aggression. We can try to poke in. It's going to come down to the unit control. See if anyone can pop off and get any big connections. Threaten the third base. And then get into Roach play from there. Should be the name of the game. 10 Lings in production for Shin. So he is going to be massing up Lings. Let's get the hell out. Pulls away. Trying to just buy time with his other Lings that are out on the map. And there it is. There's that Roach one already in production for Shin. Is moving out. So likewise, Solar throws in his own Roach one as well. He's keeping up. Looks like Shin is going to be initially the aggressor. Solar the defender. And players are being active. Shin, he wants the Baneling. Solar, he pulls away. Doesn't lose any Banelings. So far, so good. Do you have that give and take? Solar moving out towards left-hand side. Bearing in mind that both players are droning. Both Solar and Shin, they're droning up. They're being active with these Lings, but they're not really committing too hard to them. Oh my god. Solar does pull away in time. Doesn't take a Baneling to the face, thankfully. He is keeping up. Going for a further scout into the main. Roach production has begun. You can see here Solar, he has gotten up to 2 base saturation. He's on 2 gases. Joining up his third base somewhat. Meanwhile, Shin does take an extra gas geyser. And this does tell us a couple of things. One, this may just be an all-in. Yep, this is going to be a hatch base all-in from Solar, only 2 gases, purely Ling Roach off of 42 drones. Meanwhile, what is Shin doing? Shin, he's taking. Shin, he threw out an extra gas geyser. What does that mean? That means a lair is on the way. That means Evo Chamber and upgrades. So Shin is investing into upgrades. Meanwhile, Solar is not. Solar, he's investing purely into Roaches and Lings. Solar is completely all-in, very similar to the last game. And Shin, is he going to be ready for this? He hasn't overdroned, thankfully. Shin, he has not overdroned. He's massing up Roaches as we speak. Massing up Roaches, massing up Lings. He does spot the army. He's aware. Yeah, now Shin is fully aware. Oh my god, that's a lot of Banelings on the way. There's going to be a lot of Banelings. Shin! Ooh, massive connections. Yeah, drags the Lings into the Banelings. Good start for Shin. Does bait him in. But that was merely phase 1 here of the all-in, because here comes the rest. Here come the Roaches. Here come the Banelings. They're going for the Roaches here of Shin. And they will get some splash damage done. Ooh, massive connections. The Roaches, they get softened up. And they're barely standing. Shin, he's trying to reinforce. His Roaches are so low. Getting on top of the Roaches, though, of Solar. Ling reinforces as well. Clutch transfuse. Yeah, keeps his Roaches up and running. Queen's moving forward as well. And GG gets called. Shin, he does barely hold on, and we are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played again. Those are some brutal Baneling connections, but without all those Lings from Solar, as they died earlier, just before that big battle, that big clash, it meant that he had nothing to follow up to get on top of those Roaches to try to overwhelm. Alas, Solar barely did not have enough. On top of that, it was also important as well that Shin did not drone. He cut workers at 44. 2 base saturation, was playing very carefully and was focusing and able to build up that Roach count just in time. Just in time. And with that, we're tied up and we're going to the ace match. And the question becomes, what map are we going to load into? You know, the pressure is now on Solar. It is loser's pick, of course. Where does Solar take us? As we have our lobby. And oh, next game is going to be on Ultra Love. Okay, I'm ready for it. This is, of course, Solar's map of choice. It's going to be loading into Ultra Love as Game 3. A very defendable map. We saw the last time we spawned into Ultra Love that Shin did open up 2-base Roach, which again, made plenty of sense. I mean, he opened up 2-base Roach, but he hid a Link Flood, which did catch Rogue off guard. And I wonder if Solar was watching that series, if he was watching that game. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Ganbin Gladiators. It is Shin. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Here we go. Embracing our ZvZ. Now, the big reason why 2-base play is a lot more common on this map is because of the ramp. There is a ramp here coming into the natural, not just the ramp, but in general, this map is very defendable. So the idea of skipping banelings and walling up on 2 bases and getting into Roach tech is a lot more viable on a map like Ultra Love. As we saw in the previous series, just because you can wall off on 2 bases doesn't mean it has to be Roaches. We saw against Rogue, Shin did go for a Link Flood. Another option is walling off on 2 bases and going for a Nidus-based all-in, or even going into 2-base Muta with Aspire. There are options. There are options here for both players. I'm sure both players are aware. I mean, we could even just see a third and just standard play. True. It doesn't have to be 2-base Roach. Just saying that that is a lot more viable here than on other maps. It is something that is more likely than on others. But we'll see. Now our players just droning up, just saturating. Overlords are moving out to get some scouting information, to get a read on what's going on. And both players will confirm that it was hatch first. Will confirm hatch first. Meanwhile, Link speed is going to be on the way for both players. Bear that in mind. Okay, Link speed is being researched. And that is the first sign. That is the first tell that most likely our players will be expanding and taking their third bases. Link is moving out. And there it is. The drone gets sent out for Solar. He is going to be expanding. He will take his third. And likewise, so will Shin. So both players taking their third bases. Is going to be initially Ling Bane. At least it should be Ling Bane. So now Solo getting forced back. Oh. Let's take a slightly worse trade. Meanwhile, Shin, he's actually making Lings. Oh my god. That's a lot of Lings early on, and here comes a Baneling Nest. Link Scout is attempted by Solar. Shin, he's here to intercept, and he will deny the Link Scout. Link Scout is denied, and that's 20 Links in production. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing here for Shin. He's going for the all-in. He will potentially have some Banelings as well. Solar across the map. He is skipping Banelings and going into Roaches, which means he's going for his own Link Flood. Now, in this kind of game state here, Shin, I think, is going to have a slight Ling advantage. On top of that, though, the Banelings could be a big factor as well. Lings are scattered. Shin pulls the trigger. Solar back at home, trying to set up, trying to get ready. And he won't have any Banelings to defend. It's just purely Ling. Lings and Queens, I should say. The good Banelings are in production. Just the one Baneling for now for Shin. Bold move, only making one. Oh, and will it finish up? Will it finish in time? It looks like it will. And with that, he does get a surround here on the Queens. Baneling goes off. Queens gets surrounded. Yeah, big cleanup here from Shin. Gets 2 Queens, shuts down the Lings, but it looks like Shin is running out of steam. He's going to have to back off. He will back off from here. Upon seeing 0 Banelings, Shin, he knows that it's Roaches. He is aware. Back at home, he droned up somewhat. Throws down his own Bailey nest. Sorry, his own roach one, I meant to say. Bailings are amassing. And the question becomes, Solar, does he drone? The answer, no. There's no drones here at the third, no extra gases here at the natural. It's going to be a one gas hashtag Ling Roach all in. So Rogue is going, sorry, Solar, I keep saying Rogue. Solar's going for the all in. We casted Rogue earlier. And Shin, it's going to be on him to defend or survive. Bailings up. Bailings, they're going to be tested here by the Lings. So far, Shin is keeping up. Oh, one Bailing goes down. Massive connection. Massive pickoff, I should say. Solar getting zoned back. And here come the roaches. Solar, actually, he's droning. Solar, he does not believe. He doesn't have faith here in the all-in. Solar, he pulls back. He's droning up. He's taking gases. Solar, he is working on that next step. Now, this means that Shin has to realize what's going on and throw down a lair. We need a lair. We need gases. Shin, he needs to start working on a longer game state. Spots the roaches. And again, Solar, he's pivoting away from the initial all-in. At least he attempted to, but actually, I still don't see a lair. No lair for Solar. He's making more roaches. Okay. He's going for a follow-up all-in. He backed off initially. He made a couple of drones, hoping to lure Shin into a false sense of security, which is kind of working. Shin is getting an Evo chamber for upgrades, but no lair yet. So hashtag versus hashtag. Lings are still being active. Shin bleeding out some Lings. Solar is all in. He's just massing up nothing but Lings, nothing but roaches. Cutting workers at 37. Ooh, Shin is droning. Oh, now's not the time. Now is not the time to drone. He already has a worker lead. So Shin is being greedy. He's massing up more roaches. And here we go. Solar, he pulls the trigger. Looking at the unit count. Solar, he's got 19 roaches. Meanwhile, 24 for Shin. Shin, he's ready for this. He got away with droning earlier. Lings, they hit the third. They catch a queen. And here comes the all-in. So far, Shin, he has to stutter step back. Solar trying to break through. Does have a couple of Ravagers. It does have those Ravagers, but the Lings, they come in from behind. They come in for a surround. Files, they do not connect. And Shin is going to shut this down. He cleans up the army. He gets a full 360 surround, and there's no escaping this. Solar losing everything. GG gets called, and Shin will take the series at 2-1. GG. GG, well played. Shin will take it. I was concerned. I was worried that Shin maybe was being too greedy and droning up too much, but because of his advantage that he already had, what advantage you may ask? Remember, Solar, he was initially going for a Ling Roach all-in, and then he stopped, then he started droning. That allowed Shin to actually get away with his earlier worker count, with his earlier saturation. That did lead into Shin having a larger army, and into overwhelming Solar over time. GG, well played. Again, Solar, unfortunately, Shin wasn't being too greedy, wasn't cutting corners. Solar was hoping that that was the case. Solar was hoping that Shin would maybe get a lair and get double Evo chambers and drone up his natural and drone up his third. Shin never did. Shin, he played it carefully, played it safely. GG. GG, well played. With that, Shin will advance on into the next round, and the question becomes, who will be his next opponent? Exclamation mark B. Or actually, we have a pinned comment. We have a pinned comment on Chizijik. Do you have that pinned comment? So you can check it out. Meanwhile, we'll switch our scenes over and have a look ourselves.